As Vice President Kamala Harris, and of course the Democratic presidential nominee, has made her pick for her VP in this upcoming election. Let's bring in 12 News political insider Brahm Resnik. He's joining us over the phone this morning.
Hi, Brahm. So Tim Walz, seen as probably not the top pick until very recently. Are you surprised by this pick?
No, I'm not. The pick is personal and political. The VP, the running mate, has to get along with the presidential candidate, presidential nominee, and also bring something to the ticket that maybe the presidential nominee doesn't have. They're clearly in sync in terms of the vibe. They both, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, can prosecute the case. Tim Walz's vibe is very grandfatherly, yet very effective, obviously, as we've seen over the last several days of this VP search. What he doesn't do is is maybe more of the political side, which is maybe help bring a state like Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan into the fold, maybe as some thought Josh Shapiro would. But having lived in the upper Midwest for a while, Tim Walz is of the upper Midwest. He does fit the profile of voters up there, and I believe the Harris camp thinks he can do that. Bring those voters in. But ultimately, when you're voting for the president, you're voting for the president, not the vice president.
It's interesting, Brahm. I want to ask you, sources were saying as of last night when she went to bed, Harris went to bed, she still had not made her pick yet. So that's something that had to develop this morning very quickly here. What do you think it was that put Walz ahead of the other candidates?
Well, she clearly wanted somebody who can prosecute the case. That's been one of the themes ever since this campaign launched not very long ago. Tim Walz could clearly do that in a friendly, avuncular way. Josh Shapiro and Kamala Harris know each other from their days as attorneys general. Josh Shapiro is cut from that mold, obviously very well-spoken. He can make that case, but there's just a different vibe. And again, getting to the politics, what were the political issues surrounding Josh Shapiro that may have caused some headaches for Kamala Harris? I'd also add, frankly, this whole last-minute idea may or may not be accurate. It was clearly, I'm impressed by the Harris campaign's ability to keep this all under wraps as long as they did, just literally perhaps hours or two before the formal announcement. I would suggest that's what's going on here. Perhaps last-minute decision, but also a last-minute decision because they did not want this to leak.
You talk about broadening the ticket sometimes, and Donald Trump named his VP pick, somebody very politically aligned with him. Do you see Walz as being more moderate, maybe, than Kamala Harris to broaden the ticket?
Perhaps. I think what's interesting about Walz is he's only a year older than Harris. Many people think he's
he does look older, yeah.
He does. But in many ways, they're really politically aligned. He is a progressive. If you've listened to what he's been saying on cable for these last several days, he is clearly cut from the progressive mold, and that fits well with Harris. And also many of the younger voters. What we keep hearing from younger voters is they are excited not just by Harris, but it appears by this pick as well. Still early, but they like young Democratic voters like what they hear from Tim Walz.
And, on the other side of the aisle here, I want to let everyone know here that the Trump campaign has now officially come out now that this pick is out into the open and really into the public, although we are waiting for that formal announcement to come from Harris herself here. But I want to let you know, according to NBC, in a fundraising emails to supporters, the Trump campaign already slammed Walz, claiming the Minnesota governor would, quote, unleash hell on earth if the Democratic ticket wins this fall. These are the words in the email here. And the email went on to say, even worse than dangerously liberal and crooked Kamala Harris, he's that bad. So the war of words kind of already starting over this morning. Certainly not the last we've heard of it. Brahm, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that coming out here from the Trump campaign?
It's to be expected. I do think we have to say a word about Senator Mark Kelly, who was one of the finalists for this and didn't get it. And once again, Arizona children learn you can't grow up to be president or vice president if you live in Arizona. But Mark Kelly made it to the final round of three, which was impressive. I think there are political issues there as well. Democrats worried about maybe losing or having a Senate seat go up in 2026 for an election if Kelly were on the ticket and if Kelly and Harris won the White House. You'd have an open Senate seat here in Arizona, which was concerning to Democrats here and also Democrats nationally in the Senate.
Brahm, thank you. Yeah, we'll get 4 more years of Mark Kelly in the Senate. All right. Of course, Brahm will have much more on this throughout the day here on 12 News. All right. Thank you, Brahm. Appreciate that. So we are continuing to wait for that official announcement. We heard we might get it about 7 o'clock this morning, but definitely it leaked out.